baling hay, Sandy long turns over steel, John Deere plow in a new cut field. I am the working man, take nothing out of the federal hand. I'll make my final stand. I am the working man.
DeWayne Perry has been a great boss. I am a 4-H agent here, and I've worked now for almost 23 years, and he's been my boss the whole time. He really stands behind you, stays with you. He works just as hard as we do, not just telling us what to do. And he's been a wonderful mentor, and just has been so important to people of this county. Works well with the government people, with the kids in 4-H. He is just well thought of, and we love him and we'll miss him.
DeWayne Perry is such an asset to our county. I really got to know him well when my son was in 4-H, and that 4-H program is such a great program for the children of this county, and it taught my child so many great, just great things. And DeWayne is been such a great leader through it. I've got to know him now more as a county commissioner. I've got to deal with him more. And he does such a good job. And then I also took the Master Beef class with DeWayne, and I was so impressed with the class. I've learned so much, and he taught one of them specifically himself, and he did just some really great things to improve the beef product on the farm. I think he's a great asset. I hope he will still come around. I see him at the fair. I hope he'll still be at the fair, and I still hope he'll spend time with us, because he has a lot of knowledge, and it's a great loss if he don't continue to volunteer some with us. Congratulations, DeWayne. I hope you have a good retirement.
I worked with him here as a co-worker for several years, and he took the job I had. He was a treasure for the county to get a hold of. He's done an excellent job, not only while I was here working, but on the years succeeding that.
It began years ago when we were having our horse shows and 4-H shows down at next to the co-op on Eddy Lane, and I got involved with searching for a new location for an ag park, and this is what has evolved from that. That's my first interview and time I met DeWayne, and since then I've served on the ag committee from year to year. Enjoyed that, and looking back, it's been a long, good time knowing DeWayne and really wishing him well on his retirement. I know he's going to enjoy it, and I'm always looking forward to it.
I can remember the day that DeWayne called me. I was in the middle of a hog barn, and I was trying to videotape some hogs fighting, and he was calling me, trying to get me to commit one way or the other on if I wanted to take this job, and I said, no, I kind of need to come down here and see what it's all about, because I don't really have any idea what I'm getting myself into. When I got down here, I still didn't know what I was getting myself into. But over the last 5 years, DeWayne has kind of taken me under his wing, and he's taken me all throughout Williamson County. He's taken me all over the state, and to some degree, he's taken me to some places throughout the country. I've met lots of people, lots of other co-workers, and I get the same story time after time, that they cannot believe the accomplishments and the effect that he's had locally and across the state. The amount of stories that we've heard from farmers, from other clientele, from citizens in the county, just to this even building right here, he's made a profound impact on a lot of people's lives, so we want to thank him for that. On behalf of the Extension Office, myself, we want to thank him for his 40 years of service. We've enjoyed having him as a boss and a friend, because he's played both roles for our group, And I know we've got quite a few people here that would say the same thing, and we've got a few others that are going to speak on behalf of the friends and the family and the co-workers. So I want to thank him for giving me the opportunity here to stand up here, because I wouldn't be here today without him and his guidance. When he walks out of here, either today or if he wants to come in to work tomorrow, he's got that one extra day. When he walks out of here, you two will fill his slot. They will fill his job position, but they're not going to be able to fill his shoes or the impact that he's had on the county.
Well, good afternoon, and I too want to thank everyone that's here for coming today. It's always, I know, rewarding to me when I see the turnout when one of our really valued employees, like DeWayne Perry, announces retirement. It's a real indication of the positive impacts, the great work, the hours and hours of dedication that our folks have invested, and DeWayne is certainly a great example of that. But you being here today is a real testament to that, because I could say that from Knoxville, 200 miles away. You can tell me stories of what he's done for you from right here in this community, and that's what really counts. So I'm going to keep my remarks short, because each of you probably has a much better story. Let me just tell you what DeWayne Perry has meant to me, serving as administrator for our extension program statewide. You know, we try to hire individuals that really are professionals, that are responsible in their area, whether it be a subject matter area like agriculture, such as DeWayne has been responsible for recently, or family consumer science, 4-H, any of our program areas. They have to be experts in those areas. But they also have to be experts in dealing with people, in working together, in establishing good relations with the community. Because again, if we're not serving you, then we're not doing our job. And what DeWayne has meant to me is serving as a real example of that. He's always been very willing to share thoughts and ideas, sometimes at length, about what's best for the individuals that he serves. And you know, I really did appreciate that, because from where I sit and where he sits, there's two different perspectives. And his perspective was always what's best for Williamson County, what's best for the producers, for the youth and the families that we serve. And that's what we paid him to do, was to represent those individuals, to serve those individuals, and educate those individuals. So again, from my perspective, he's been one that's really and truly fulfilled the mission of Extension, and that is to be out helping in our local communities to anticipate or determine what the needs are and to help marshal the resources to address those needs. And as Matt mentioned, you know, I think this facility is a real good physical example of what can result from work like that, and it's one I'd replicate this facility in at least 93 other counties across the state, maybe 92. If we could do this everywhere, it just means so much to our programs and to the community, because a facility like this just enables us to do so much more. So I won't go any longer other than to say I really enjoy seeing all of our retirees that have turned out today, as well as all the friends and supporters from the community here. We thank you. We appreciate the strong support that we get here in Williamson County, from county government and from all the farmers, families, and youth here in the community. I wish Mr. Horseman the very best as he takes over leading an outstanding staff here in Williamson County. I know he'll do a good job. We'll do our best to help him. Our training program is very brief. In fact, we've already delivered it. We said, "Your county director, good luck." So he is now trained and ready to serve. So anything you need, you let him know, and we'll work with him to meet those needs. So Matt, good luck, and thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cross. Now if we could get Mayor Anderson to come up here and have a few thoughts from the Williamson County perspective.
Again, I'll echo both of the comments and the comments, but I do want to set the record straight. As good as DeWayne has been from Franklin County, the real guy that got this ag center going is sitting over here in a gold sweater. That's Clint Callicott. Now, no question about it, DeWayne had a great impact on that. But the man that pushed all the pencils and twisted our arms and got everything all done, that's sitting over there. You know, I've had the luxury of working with DeWayne really in local politics since 1986. And that was about a dozen years after DeWayne got here. And what a joy it's been to work with him. Now, he has a way of just absolutely wearing you out until he gets something he wants. So it's taken me about 20 some odd years to figure this out, and there's been no exceptions to this last 30 days. He's been in my office almost every week. And I finally said, okay, DeWayne, you can have it. And he's fighting for every one of you. He was fighting for the programs that we have. He was fighting for the presence of the University of Tennessee and what it means down here to Williamson County. But above all, he spotted some talent a couple of years back in two young people that will carry on the legacy that we've got. One of them is Matt, and the other one's Julie in the back of the room, to develop these men and women to carry on what we have gotten here in Williamson County. What a wonderful legacy that even on his last month going out, he's still arguing that to get that done. And I know that he will not be away from here very long. He'll retire. He's committed to staying on working with the fair, which is which he's done a wonderful job. And on a personal level, I'd like to say to DeWayne that he's, you know, when you look around in the ag community, and I'm a city farmer, I grew up as a city farmer, didn't have the things that so many of you all have, but the biggest compliment that I can give DeWayne, even after he wore you out, you could go to the bank with what he said, and a handshake was as good as really all you needed. And for most of us that have grown up, that got a little gray hair, it would be wonderful, and I know the press is here, if we didn't have all the legal entities we've got to deal with, because DeWayne did what he said he was going to do. And I look around, and I won't recite all these numbers, Matt, that you and your staff have got to work with, and Julie, but if you make this community continue to grow in the ag side, in the community side, in the livestock side, 50% of what he has left us with. And I see Mr. Beeler over here. Isn't it wonderful to have two of the finest men that you could want to have leading your children? I probably shouldn't say this, but I know nothing that would ever happen with these two men like happened over in Rutherford County with some basketball coaches. You can go to the bank, you can give your children to them, and they're going to take care of them. And that's a real testimony to the character that their moms put in them and developed in them. So congratulations, DeWayne. As a parting note, I have to say I do feel sorry for your wife. Teresa, if you're smart, you'll figure out something for him to do real quick, because he will wear you down also, maybe. DeWayne, we'll miss you. You've done a heck of a job. I am proud to say that you're a good leader, and it's been an honor to work with you, and not for you, but with you. And to the folks at UT, if you can clone them like this one, minus that one little defect he's got, he's great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Anderson. If we could get former Mayor Mr. Clint Callicott, if he would like to say a few words.
Oh, I can say that this project made an old man out of me. You know, the heart of this country is agriculture. It has always been, it always will be. And DeWayne is an example of one that has lived that dream from his roots, from growing up, and just turned and developed a program here that by now is superior than anywhere. But is that his heart was with agriculture, and his heart was the community and the family way. I could tell some stories, and a few stories on HY behind me, but is that they've got one similarity to us, and all us that know them well know what it is that and I'm not going to mention that, but, you know, sometimes DeWayne's been known as when he walked, he squeaked. But he came, the idea was going on, getting off a long lane over there and building a facility. And then it was decided if we're going to build a facility, we're going to build one. And is it with his guidance on his knowledge of agriculture and everything, a lot of this could not have been done. It was a group effort from everybody, and we're going to miss you. And this county's going to miss you. And it seemed like all my closest friends are retiring, but the next thing I know, my phone's ringing, they won't know what I'm doing. So, but he's already got a trip planned. But on behalf of my love for this county, my love for agriculture, you've done well, and thank you.
At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Martin Kuhn, our regional program leader for the adult ag, if he'll come up here and give you a few remarks from the Central Region office.
Thanks, Matt. And first, I'd like to apologize for Jim Stewart, our regional director. He originally had planned to be here, and was unable to attend, had to go out of town. So I asked Jim, I said, please send me a few notes, things you'd like for me to cover. And then I was talking to our secretary this morning. I said, let's pull out his personnel file and look through and see what good stuff we can find. You know, he started in December of 1974, a little over 40 years ago. And 40 years, there's a lot of stuff in a personnel file for someone that's worked 40 years. A lot of positive things and a lot of letters. And I think our mayor mentioned a few things, Dr. Cross, and some comments Jim made, but one thing that constantly came up is this whole squeaky wheel theory that DeWayne subscribes to. You know, he believes if you're that squeaky wheel, you'll get the grease. Also, he is pretty flexible as long as he gets his way. That's another thing Jim said. And his opinion. He has opinion about a lot of things, and he's pretty sure it's always right. But serious side of things, DeWayne has a passion for extension, for the Williamson County program. In all program areas, he supports his staff 100%, as they will all be glad to share the support that they have. A few years ago, he had a couple of coworkers that retired. They're here today. And what I understand, he decided to postpone his retirement because of those vacancies and didn't want to leave the office hanging. So that says a lot about an individual as we're willing to stay on just so the program doesn't get hurt. How many of you in here are a product of the 4-H program here in Williamson County? DeWayne probably had an impact on all of you. He hasn't had 4-H responsibility for years, but the 4-H program here in Williamson County is truly dear in his heart, and his efforts show in the work that he does with the 4-H program. And the other thing is, you know, 40 years, you build a lot of relationships in the county, not just clientele, but local leaders, and see things grow and blossom. And DeWayne has done a great job growing the leadership here in the county, those relationships to those leaders. And so we really appreciate everything DeWayne's done to build those relationships, to show the importance of extension here in Williamson County. So DeWayne, we really appreciate everything you've done. Congratulations on your retirement. And I will say that, just like Dr. Cross said, he has built a great staff, and they will continue to do great things. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. When I first started here about 5 years ago, I started riding around with DeWayne. We went a lot of different places, and every time we got in the truck, I started hearing stories about this gentleman named Larry Moorhead. And every story I heard seemed to be kind of one-sided. So at this time, I'm going to give Mr. Moorhead an opportunity to get a rebuttal for those 5 years worth of stories.
I'm the county agent down in metropolitan county. I'm not used to crowds like this. I guess when I look around this room, I don't know if anybody's known DeWayne Perry longer than me. DeWayne was raised in Awalk, Tennessee. Oh, yeah, his mama. Yeah. But anyhow, DeWayne tore that holler up so bad they covered it up with water. I mean, you can't even see Awalk anymore. But anyhow, I met DeWayne at UT, and folks, if it had not been for me, he'd have never got out of that place. You can tell he's older than I am. I'd already graduated. I was in graduate school when I met him. Led him by the hand, finally got him out of school. We were in the ag ed program together. We were going to be ag teachers. I got a job and he couldn't get one. You know, he went to school at UT, and UT's pretty nice about giving their local people a job. So Perry finally got a job. But I've known DeWayne a long time, think a lot of him. The biggest job I've ever been given since I've had this job was probably running our National County Agents meeting in Nashville. You know, I found out working with DeWayne, one of the best things you can do is hire good people or put good people to work for you. He's got great people here. Here a few years ago, he called me, he said, Moorhead, said, I want you to apply for this award. It's called the Purcell Pinnacle Award. For you people, it's not in the County Agent Association. That's the highest honor you can get in our association. I said, Perry, you're wasting our time. He said, Larry, put something together and send it up here to me, and I'll take care of it. Folks, in 2 weeks, I got a little call, said I'd won the award. His secretary did the best. I didn't even recognize what I had wrote when it came out in the book. But anyhow, old DeWayne, I put him in charge of the facilities at our national meeting. Now, folks, that don't sound too big, but we was at Opryland Hotel with 1,000 rooms. We had as much as 40 meetings going on at a time. Do you think I planned all that? Nope. I told Perry to do it. But anyhow, we went down early, and he had me running the road for him, picking up signs and stuff, and he had a teenage son. Nathan was riding with me because I didn't know my way around Nashville. Well, before we got back, Perry calls me on the cell phone. He said, Moorhead, you need to go by the airport and pick up a keg of beer. Now, I'm not a drinker. I'm from Lynchburg, but I don't drink. But anyhow, I had to go get this keg of beer. And DeWayne's son has learned a lot from his daddy. We got in the truck with that keg of beer and headed back down the road, and Nathan picked up the phone, called his dad and said, Daddy, you know what me and Moorhead's got? Perry said, no, what? He said, we got a keg of beer and we ain't a-coming back. DeWayne Perry is one of the most thoughtful people that I've known since college. You know, he don't miss nothing. You people here know how he is. Well, anyhow, we served on the state board, and some other fellow county agents here were on the state board with us, and we made every meeting promoting our national meeting in Nashville. And we had a big meeting down in New Orleans, and we had decided we was going to fly. And Perry called me one day, and this is a big party for all extension organizations. He said, Moorhead, and Perry, I can't believe you forgot how to make lemonade. I got me a glass back there, and it just didn't taste hardly right. But anyhow, Perry says, you need to bring some of that stuff in Lynchburg, and we're going to make lemonade. I said, Perry, that's a big party. We won't have a thing to do with it. There won't be time. No, Moorhead, you got to do it. Well, during that time, Dr. Cross had tried to train all of us to use a computer. So I figured out how I could get my case in that computer bag. Towed it to 3 airports, had to get from the airport into downtown New Orleans, and I had to go out on Bourbon Street and buy me some Mellow Yellows. On Bourbon Street, a 2-liter bottle of Mellow Yellow was $3.50 in 1994. But anyhow, we finally made it back to Nashville. I got in the truck and headed home, pulled up in the garage, and I was going to unload my stuff. Opened the bag, and folks, I had 8 2-liter bottles of Mellow Yellow. Well, you know what I had in that bag coming from Lynchburg. I went in the house and I called Perry. I said, Perry, what did you do with my liquor? He said, Larry, you paid $3.50 a bottle for that Mellow Yellow, and I knew you didn't want to lose your money. And usually when somebody retires, I try to give them a bottle, Perry, but you've had yours. You know, DeWayne is kind of forgiving. Sometimes it takes him a while. While we were doing this, we decided every state in the South should give us $5,000. So we wrote them all a letter. Folks, we're putting on the 96 meeting. We need $5,000. 2 or 3 states replied. We was up in Minnesota the year before, and of course I'm hobnocking and politicking with all these states. And Perry is listening to me, talking to this guy from Arkansas. And the old boy from Arkansas says, of course, I don't know what happened in Arkansas. Tyson got his start. But he said, Moorhead, I can't get you $5,000, but I'll get you 5,000 chicken breasts. And I said, yes, sir, and you'll ship them out of Shelbyville, Tennessee, won't you? Well, anyhow, Perry heard that conversation. Of course, I accepted because I don't turn down nothing. Perry give me the dangdest chewing you have ever heard. Not only that, but he got a collection of other county agents to chew me out because I accepted 5,000 chicken breasts. Before the day was over, Kentucky wanted to donate some pinto beans and some roasting ears and stuff like this, you know. And I told them, I said, well, you know, what we need to do is get together. Y'all need to get together in Arkansas and y'all can do our barbecue. Well, they agreed to that. We had set aside $25,000. So I saved $25,000, didn't say a thing to Perry. But anyhow, the next fall, we're having this meeting. And I had to drive to Lynchburg to go with my tour because I wanted to help feed them while they were there. And got back to Lebanon, and I was there watching these boys from Arkansas. They had grills from everywhere, cooking 5,000 chicken breasts. And here come Perry rolling in. Of course, he had to take care of business at Opryland Hotel. And as he walked up, I said, Perry, look around here. What, Moorhead? I said, look at all this smoke boiling. People sweating, cooking chicken. I said, if I hadn't made that deal with Arkansas, you know who was going to be, you know who would have been doing it? And he's got that little grin about him. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We've got a name for it in Lynchburg. He said, well, yeah. He said, I guess you're right. Traveling with Perry. Last summer, I called him one day. And I told him, I said, DeWayne, guess what my wife just bought? He said, don't know, Moorhead, what? I said, she bought her a vehicle with 8 cup holders in it. He was driving me one time my old 78 Ford pickup. And, you know, he had to have one of them plastic things hanging on the window to put his Coke in. And he gave me the devil because I wanted to buy a truck with a cup holder in it. But anyhow, I'm uptown now when I ride with my wife, Perry. I'm not, but she is. I don't know how well y'all know. Well, I bet you people in the county office here knows it. But Perry is a little bit tight. Maybe you might call him frugal. But you know, he and I were out trying to hunt a place to have barbecue and stuff. And you know, at least have a hamburger at lunch. But now Perry wanted to stop at Taco Bell. They got 2 tacos for $1. Just the other day, we had a meeting in Murfreesboro, and everybody goes in Hardee's, you know, and we'll order some meal. Not Perry. He gets a junior sandwich, and he wanted water. The guy comes out with a bottle of water. He said, no, I want a cup. I'll get it out of the fountain. But that's the reason he can retire and I'm still working, I guess. Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm not much of a history buff or anything, but I looked this up and read it. He once said that life is an experiment. The more experiments you do, the better. And folks, if there's been anybody in Extension to try different things, it's DeWayne Perry. I've learned it. He don't mind tackling anything. He don't mind telling you when he don't like something either. Perry, you're getting awful quiet on top of your head. And I read this in a book the other day, and I wanted to share it with you. It says, Norman Vincent Peale said this. He said, live your life and forget about your age. We think we're still young. Although Perry finally admitted to me the other day he can't hardly do everything he used to. Ain't that right, Perry? He can still, huh? Henry Ellis once said, all the art in living lies in the fine mingling of letting go and holding on. Now, Perry called me. We talk a lot of mornings. Of course, usually I'm done at work, and he's on his way to work. But anyhow, he calls me this morning, and I'm talking to the fellow about some rations, and he said, Moorhead, I ain't going to get through today. And I said, Perry, what do you mean you ain't going to get through? He said, I'm not going to get everything done I wanted to do. I said, Perry, this afternoon you can walk out the door and lock it and not worry about it no more. But now he's worried about coming back to work next week, I do believe. You know, I've been guilty of a thing or two, but Perry has been guilty of a bunch of things in the Extension that he won't let go of. You know, sometimes we have to let things go, Perry, and that may happen. Another saying that fits DeWayne Perry real well, written by Arnold Glasgow, says, a friend will never get in your way unless you're on your way down. And DeWayne Perry is that kind of friend. And folks, he's been that kind of friend to me. Means a lot to me. One more thought. Got a poem I want to read. I need a drink. Goes like this. The title of it is, I Asked God. I asked God for a flower, and he gave me a garden. I asked God for a tree, and he gave me a forest. I asked God for a friend, and he gave me DeWayne Perry. I want to wish you and Teresa the best, DeWayne.
And I'm sure each and one of you out there in the audience today probably have similar stories that you could come up here and tell, and we could drag this on throughout the night, but I think we'll run out of food before we get to that point. So I'd like to ask one last speaker to come up here, Mr. Glenn Beer, who's our president of the Master Gardener Association. I think they'd like to make a presentation to DeWayne.
Yeah, I'll give you mine. DeWayne, we really appreciate you. We were standing up here talking a while ago. We've been through some times, so. But on behalf of the Williamson County Master Gardeners Association, I would like to personally say thank you and for all the membership of the association. And I'd also like to thank you for all the 4-H'ers, agriculture people, horticulture people, everybody in Williamson County. I've known this man the 40 years he's been here, and you won't find anybody any better anywhere. Thank you.
You'll get the mic soon enough. Okay, we'd also like to make another presentation. On behalf of all your friends out here in the audience and those that couldn't make it here, we'd like to give you another presentation of a thanks and gratitude. Thank you. And now you will turn it over. No, you don't have to open it. You're not supposed to open it. We'll turn it over.
Well, I can't say how much I appreciate all of you coming today. It's Friday afternoon, and we made a mistake getting Moorhead on the program. We're going to be in traffic going home. if you notice, what's hanging over his belly is different than what's hanging over mine. That's when I drank water and he drank something else. So many people I need to thank, and the list is just bottomless. But I appreciate my family and how they put up with me all these years. It's always going to a meeting or doing something and just kind of being on the run. And that's the kind of job we have. You get very attached to this job, and it's just difficult not to look at it that way. I remember a couple of years ago, I've been more than that, but the night we had the bad horse wreck on I-40, my wife and I were going out for our anniversary, and I get this call, and here we go. I call Matt, and we just had to drop it, and that's just part of this job. And you know, agents and counties everywhere, they do stuff like that, and that just, you don't think about it, you just do it. But again, there's just so many folks here. You know, it's been said already today, but the way you make yourself look good is you get the right people to work with, and I've been so blessed to do that here. I've had a great staff forever here that I've had a chance to work with, and my retired co-workers, some of them are here, and I really appreciate them coming. But we have a wonderful group of people here now, and I'll be honest with you, it's hard thinking about when to retire is a question. You know, there's lots of signals, I guess, when you start going in-service training, Dr. Cross, and you, the people there, your co-workers are younger than your kids, you know, that may be a sign. And then when they speak this different language, you know, that's a sign, you know, that you don't understand all this new technology stuff that they're talking about, just, you know, like it's just commonplace stuff, and it is to them. And then, you know, for years, you know, I had this problem. Everybody, it seemed like I'd bump into people all the time who would, you know, say, you know, I thought you'd already retired, you know. And I don't know whether that's because they thought I'd quit working or what, but it reminded me of the John Wayne movie. I'm a big John Wayne fan. You know, that Big Jake movie, you know, everybody he bumps into, they say, who are you? And I'm Jacob McCandless, you know, and they say, well, I thought you was dead. And he says, not hardly. So that's kind of the way I feel about retirement, you know. I haven't hardly retired yet, and I'm not dead either. I plan to be around, and I'll see you at a lot of things. And again, I just want to thank you all so much for being here. I want to say a word about the Ag Park. Kenny Wallace is here. I just can't say enough about what a blessing this has been for our programs here. You know, Clint had a dream, and you know, we had a dream, and a lot of county commissioners had a dream. Lou Green is here. Lou was in the mix of that, you know, all the way through, and he just believed it was a great thing for our county. And you know, Clyde Lynch has passed away. Judy was here. She's still here. Judy's here, okay. Mr. Clyde was in the middle of that from the beginning. And Judy Hayes is in the hospital. She had knee surgery, I think, last couple of days, didn't she, Diane? She would be here if she could, but you know, that group of people, that core group of people, and the others grew, and you know, we got 4-H families involved. Mr. John Albright has passed away, but Miss Albright's been here, and he's got you know, Julie's here, and Carrie Osborne. There was just a group of people that just fought so hard for trying to build the momentum to get this done. I remember Dr. Jack Hall saying he just wished we could have done it 20 years earlier, Clint. So there'd been more people that would appreciate, you know, what this building could mean to a lot of people. But it's been a real blessing to us, and I just can't say enough about it. But again, I just hope you all will support my coworkers. We have a great staff here, and and be honest with you, like somebody said, having them together and having the quality people here that we do have was a big signal for me that it's time to go and give them a chance. And I hope you'll support them. Really appreciate you coming. Thank you.
I met DeWayne over the phone for the first time. Like I was saying earlier in our presentation, that I met him talking to him on the phone at a hog barn, so I couldn't quite hear him. I had my other things on my mind, and I really didn't have time to be talking about that. But he called and asked if I'd be interested in the job. And I said yes, but I can't take it from right here because I don't really know anything about Tennessee. I've never been there. And so I came down here, and DeWayne took me around a few places, and that kind of sold me on being here in Williamson County, and more importantly, having him as my boss. And over the last 5 years, I've been very fortunate. I've been all across the state, and seeing leaders from all over the area. And I can quite confidently say that I have one of the best extension leaders, county directors that there is in the state. I've been very fortunate to have him, and I can quite confidently say that I wouldn't be here today without his help and guidance.
I came here right out of college, and this is actually the 5th office the extension office has been in Williamson County since I came. And of course, we were very involved in the Ag Park being an ideal and a dream, and then actually coming to pass. The 4-H Club program was in need of a better place, and it was one of the things that kind of was a spark plug for this facility. Yeah. We have a strong tradition around that kind of thing, but everyone's connected to food, and 4-H, I think, helps a lot of boys and girls learn about that, as well as a lot of other science-related activities that they can do. And a good thing about 4-H that's a little different than some youth things is it connects boys and girls to their families. They almost have to be involved as a family to be active in 4-H, and that's a wonderful thing. Right here, I have 2 grandkids I hope to spend a lot more time with, and we have a little farm, and we're going to do some things on that together. I feel great. I feel great. I feel very fortunate to have had this long career here.